students. Today we'll start our session. We'll discuss about work done. Alright. See, whenever I have told you many times that this translatory motion and rotational motion, whatever you are observing in the formulas and all that in translatory motion, similar type of formulas you will be observing in rotational motion. See, for example, there is an object, you apply force to this object moves in this direction and occupies this kind of position. So there is some displacement, right? So there must be some work done. So here you used to call it work is equal to F dot ds, F vector dot S vector. Alright? Or in integral form you used to write F ds. Isn't it? This is the format in translatory motion. Translatory motion means a linear motion. Now let us say a rigid body is moving in a circular path. So from here, this is the original position. From here it came to here, subtending some angle theta with the horizontal. That means this was the initial position A and now the final position is B. So from here to here it has moved in a circular path. So there must be some work done. Now this work is given by, you see, in the place of F, torque will come. In the place of S, theta will come. So this is the amount of work done in a rotational motion. Okay, energy is energy and work done. Both units are joules only. It's a scalar quantity. In the integral form, if you want to write, it is tau d theta. Okay, similar to what you have written here. So this is one concept. Now let us move to another concept. See, you have studied this work energy theorem, isn't it? Work energy theorem we have studied. What is this work energy theorem? Take this case. So let us say the initial position of the object was here, and from here to here it moved. It moved means it will have some velocity, isn't it? So let us say this is the final position and this is the initial position. So if you take the difference of kinetic energy, that is equal to the work done. Who is saying this? Work energy theorem is saying this. Take the initial and final positions, take the difference in kinetic energy, that is equal to the work done. This is what we have learned in work energy theorem in translatory motion. Is it true in rotational motion? It is true in rotational motion also. Here also it will be change in kinetic energy, but change in which kinetic energy? Change in rotational kinetic energy is equal to work done. What is the meaning of it? From here to here, the object traversed in a circular path. So it must be having some angular speed omega, then only it is possible. So let us say A is the initial position, B is the final position. So take the difference of initial and final kinetic energies. So it is how much? It is denoted by half I omega square minus half I omega naught square. What is omega naught? Omega naught is the initial angular speed and omega is the final angular speed. So it is not necessary that every time the initial angular speed will be 0, isn't it? Here also the object may have started here. Here the object speed may be 10 meter per second. Here it is 20 meter per second. So there is an initial speed, there is a final speed. The mass is not changing. So similarly here also initial minus final or final minus initial. Basically final minus initial is equal to work done. But what is work done? Work done is this. So we can write this as equal to tau theta or half I omega square minus omega square is equal to tau theta. Okay, so this is one format we write this equation. Alright, so make a note of these points. And yeah, now let us say there is a disk whose center is this. Now here you are rotating some object in this circular fashion, in this fashion, okay, with some omega angular speed, or this disk is rotating with omega angular speed. There is no object kept over here. The disk is rotating by omega angular speed. Now this disk has to be brought to rest. So some reverse work has to be done. It can be interpreted this way also. This disk is rotating in which fashion here? Anti-clockwise fashion here. So it has to be brought to rest. That means in clockwise direction, some opposite work has to be done. Then only it will come to rest. So it can be interpreted this way also. Because it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, it will have some angular rotational kinetic energy which is doing the work. So in order to stop it, you have to do reverse work. So it will come to rest. Okay. What is this? Anti-clockwise direction, it is rotating because of this kinetic energy. What is this? Clockwise direction, you have applied reverse force, reverse work to stop it. So what is this theta? Theta is number of rotations it underwent before coming to rest. It's an important concept. Many times it is asked, what is theta? Theta here is the number of rotations it took to come to rest, because both are balancing, no? So this is I omega square, half I omega square, some 100 joules, let us say. So 100 joules of reverse energy has to be applied. So you know how much torque has to be applied. So suppose this is 100 joules, okay, torque applied is 25 theta. So what is theta now? 100 by 25, okay, 4 radians, okay. 4 radians means we can convert this into rotations also. Remember, if they ask you number of rotations, see, theta is the total number of rotations, okay. See, if it rotates one round, I told you earlier also, for one round it is 2 pi radians. For 2 rounds it is 4 pi radians. Suppose it made 8 pi round, 8 pi angle. 8 pi angle means how many rounds? 2 pi means 1, 4 pi means 2, 8 pi means 4. After 4 rounds it stopped. Okay, remember this. So let us move on to the next one. There we have seen this concept that F is equal to rate of change of momentum. F is a vector, this is also a vector, momentum is also a vector. Just cross multiply these two. F dt is equal to dp. Integrate, you get this. What is this term? There we called it as impulse. Remember? Impulse. Now what is impulse? Large amount of force acting on a small amount of time. Remember? Impulse means large force acting in small time. That is impulse. Example. This cricket they play, Virat Kohli, the ball is coming at a very high speed, 140, 150 km per hour. So he will flick the ball. So what is the time do you think he will flick the ball? It will be 0.01 seconds, 0.02 seconds. So he will be applying force onto the ball to maybe hit a boundary or a six. So that will come under the impulse category. Large amount of force transferred in a small amount of time. Right? So such concept, is it there in rotation? It is there in rotation also. So it is called angular impulse. It is called angular impulse. It is denoted by J. It's also a vector. So what is the meaning of here? Here you are doing what? F dt. There you will do tau d theta. Isn't it? There, sorry. Here, sorry. Here you are doing FD dt, F will be replaced by tau, dt will remain dt only. So large amount of torque applied in a small amount of time. That is what is angular impulse in this case here. From where this thing has come means this torque. See here what you have done here. Force is equal to dp by dt. What is this dp? It is linear momentum. No, dp by dt is change in linear momentum. So similarly, torque is defined as change in angular momentum. Okay, just they are comparable terms, you know. So from here you are getting dl is equal to tau dt. Tau is the torque, dt is the small amount of time. So this is what you can get the angular impulse. Now you know that this L, angular momentum, can also be expressed as I omega. So this J, which is the angular impulse, equal to tau dt, is also equal to change in momentum. You see here, f dt is equal to dp. No, what is dp? Change in momentum. So you can write this tau dt equal to delta L. Okay, what is this delta L? Delta L is the change in angular momentum. Here you see, if I write f dt is equal to dp. What is dp? Change in linear momentum. So here it is change in angular momentum. Change in angular momentum is equal to angular impulse. So how you can write it? It is I into omega minus omega naught. Omega naught is the initial speed, initial angular speed, and omega is the final angular speed. Isn't it? Here what is P? P is m times v, isn't it? This is the linear speed. Here it is the angular speed. So angular impulse can be calculated using this concept. So if any question comes on this, you should remember this expression to calculate the angular impulse. But here you should be careful about the directions also. Directions are very important. So let us see some illustrations now. A flywheel of mass 25 kg has a radius of 0.2 meters. It is making 250 rotations per minute. It is making 250. Okay. So here mass is given, radius is given. The flywheel is like this, no? Flywheel. Like that. This is your flywheel. Like, you know, like the motorcycle tires, you know. What is the moment of inertia of flywheel means? It is mr square by 2. Okay. So in this question he is asking you what is torque, and it has to be brought in just 20 seconds. So here he has given you the frequency. Okay. The torque, you know that it is I alpha. Torque tau is equal to I alpha. I value we know. So alpha value we need to calculate. What is alpha? Alpha is equal to omega by t, isn't it? So omega is 2 pi n. N is the frequency by t. You can see here frequency is given to you. So it is 2 pi into, now it is in rotations per minute. So we always try to calculate in seconds because it is asking you in 20 seconds, right? So you need to convert this into seconds. So 250 rotations per minute. 250 rotations per 60 seconds. 1 second में कितना? It will be 250 divided by 60. Alright? So 2 pi n you have calculated. Divided by t. This is your alpha value. Alright? So he is asking you what is the torque required. See, this question has come in 2010. So now find out the torque. Torque is equal to I. I is mr square by 2. What is m? It is 25. R is given as 0.2. So 0.2 square by 2. This is I value, right? Into alpha. Alpha is 2 pi into 250 by 60 divided by, in how much time it has to come to rest? 20 seconds. So divided by 20 seconds. We need to solve this. So let us just calculate that. And let's see how much is the answer. So 2 pi 2 into 3.14 divided by into 250 divided by 60 and divided by 20. Okay, into it is 0.2 square by 2 into 25. So 0.65. 0.65 is the torque. And what is the unit of torque? Remember, torque is force into distance. So Newton meter. Newton meter is the unit of that. So understood how I have done? Okay, this question has come in previous years. Make a note of this. See students, it's a good question. It has come in 2011 paper. It says that a pulley of radius 2 meter is rotated about its axis, okay, by a force. Now force is a variable force here. It is given as a function of time here. 20t minus 5t square newtons. This sign is newtons, where t is measured in seconds. Applied tangentially. Obviously, there is a pulley. Let us say you have to rotate it. You have to apply the force tangentially. Then only it will rotate in this way. Now the moment of inertia of this pulley is given as 10 kg meter square. Then the number of rotations made by the pulley, ध्यान से देखो, the number of rotations made by the pulley before its direction of motion is reversed. अभी ध्यान से देखो, let us say there is a disc. It is rotating in this fashion. In this fashion means it is rotating in clockwise fashion. So if I tell that this should start rotating in anti-clockwise fashion, what will happen? It is rotating with omega speed. This will come to rest. Omega was initially left, let us say 40. 40 will become 30, 30 will become 20, 20 will become 0. Then again in the reverse direction the speed will increase, isn't it? So whenever you see this condition reversed, that means omega has to become 0, then only it will reverse. So this is the trick you have to catch in this question. So here you have to use the information that is given in the question. Again I am telling, when you say the motion is reversed, reversed means let us say it was rotating in the clockwise direction. So it was rotating with some omega. I am just taking an example, 40 radians per second. So it has to rotate in the reverse direction means initially the speed will come down. 40 will become 30, it will die down to 0, and then from there it will pick up in this direction. So 0 in the anti-clockwise direction will become 10, 20, 30, it will rise. Okay. So let us see this question. Okay, just note down. It's a good question. Whenever you see this type of questions, you should practice them. Here F is given as 20t minus 5t square. Okay. Now you know that torque is equal to I alpha, isn't it? And what is one more definition of torque? Torque is equal to, in this question you see radius is also given. Okay, so one more definition of torque is force multiplied by distance. Okay, it is R cross F. I am just talking the magnitude part. So these two must be equal now. So from here can I say alpha is equal to FR by I? Is it possible? It is possible. Alpha is equal to, what is F? F is 20t minus t square. What is radius? Radius is given as 2. So 2 divided by I value is given as 10. So this is what it is. So alpha is equal to, this becomes 5. So it is 4t minus t square by 5. This is the expression for alpha. Alright. Now here the whole stuff is we were discussing that the omega will become 0 and all that. So from alpha we have to get the value of omega. How? Alpha is equal to what? D omega by dt, isn't it? Which is equal to 4t minus t square by 5. You can see here, if I take dt other side, if I integrate, I'll get the value of omega, isn't it? So cross multiply, d omega is equal to 4t minus t square by 5 into dt integrated, you will get the value of omega. Let us just do that. So omega is equal to 4t dt. So this is t square by 2. So it is 2t square. T became t square by 2. 4 into t square by 2. 2t square minus. This will become t cube by 3. Already 5 is there. So this will become t cube by 15. This is the value of omega. This is the value of omega. So while discussing, I told you that initially it was going with some omega. The omega value has to become 0. See, at time t is equal to 0, omega was already 0. Okay? Because any pulley will start from rest only. Okay? So we have to find the other time at time t is equal to t1 when omega again becomes 0. That you need to see here. So put omega is equal to 0 here. I am writing here. If you put omega is equal to 0 here, you are going to get 2t square minus t cube by 15 is equal to 0. Did I make the calculations correctly? This is t square by 5. Okay. So here you can write that 2t square is equal to t cube by 15. This goes t times. So t is equal to 30 seconds I am getting. Just check. Achha, here 5t square was there, which I unfortunately missed. There is another 5t square. So 5t square is there. So 5 will come, and this will become 1. See 5t square. Okay. So this is what we are doing integration, no? So this will become t cube by 3. 5 cancels. This becomes t cube by 3. Small mistake we have done. In the question 5t square is given. I have not taken that. So this will become 3. So when you solve this, you get how much? When you solve this, you get t is equal to 6 seconds. So again, after t is equal to 6 seconds, the omega value will become 0. This is our finding. So once omega becomes 0, it will start to rotate in the other direction. But the question says you have to find the number of rotations it made before coming to rest. So we have to find out what? We have to find out the value of theta. Okay. So we have an expression for omega and we have to find the value of theta. So how to find that? You can write omega as d theta by dt is equal to 2t square minus t cube by 3. Right? So you have to find theta value. Again, same logic, cross multiplying. D theta is equal to 2t square t cube by 3 into dt. What is dt? It is change in time. When again omega becoming 0, what is the range of t here? At t is equal to 0, omega is equal to 0. At t is equal to 6 seconds, it is becoming 0. So it is from 0 to 6 seconds. This is the number of, left hand side shows the number of rotations made during that time. See, initially t is equal to 0, omega is equal to 0, it started rotating. Then when time became 6 seconds, it would have made some rotations, right? We have to find those many rotations. Okay, so it was rotating like this. So for 6, imagine the clock is ticking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. So it will be fast rotating, no? Then it came to rest and then it started rotating in the opposite direction. So you have to integrate from 0 to 6. So just put it, so it just becomes t cube by 3. So this becomes t cube by 3 minus, this is t power 4, 4 into 3, 12, from 0 to 6. Now you have to put the upper and the lower boundary. Left hand side what you will get? This is from 0 to theta, so you will get theta here. These many are the total angle dispersed. Total angle dispersed. The value, the answer you will get in radians. So just put the value of t as 6 here. So 6 cube is 216. It is 216 by 3 minus 6 power 4. I will write 6 square by 6 square by 12. So this is how much? 72. So 2 2s are 4, 144 it is minus. So this is 36. So this goes 3 times. 6 square is how much? 36. 36 into 3 is 108. Alright. So 144 minus 108 is how much? It is 36 radians. Am I right? Yes. It is 36 radians. Okay. Remember, 2 pi radians corresponds to 1 rotation. 36 radians corresponds to how many rotations? So the answer will be 36 divided by 2 pi number of rotations it will take before coming to rest. So it will be 18 by pi. Answer will be 18 by pi rotations. So you will say 18 by pi is not a whole number, sir. So 18 by pi is how much? 18 by pi, we just calculate. You're getting how much? 5.73 rotations. So approximately 75 rotations you can see. What is 0.75 rotation? Divided into 4 parts. So this is 25%, 50%, 75%. So 5 rounds it made. In the 6th round it came up to this point. Then it started rotating backwards. Okay. So let's see some more in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.